Yo, good morning. Welcome to the Stokastic.com MLB strategy live before lock. I don't know. Call it whatever we want, but it is for the 4-game early slate. Yeah. So let's make it happen. We got a decent one, I'd say. No terrible weather. That's a good start, right? I mean, when you've got these, we've had a lot of these lately, right? Where you get these like 4-game slates, 5-game early slates, and 2 of the games have terrible weather. That just makes matters terrible. But we don't have to worry about that today. So, yeah, let's get into it. Happy to have you guys with us. If you don't mind, take a single second this fine morning. Atone for your sins. Hit that thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment down below if you're listening or watching after the fact. Goes a long way, and I appreciate you for it. Otherwise, I wouldn't bother asking. But, yeah, Andy Cujo. What's good, boys? Dwayne, happy NFL schedule release day. Yeah, look, the NFL does it right, honestly. Like we can shit on the product all you want, but to me, I think they do it better than anybody. You know, their off season is loaded with all of these instances where people are paying attention. Everyone pays attention to the draft, particularly on Thursday, right? And then you've got the schedule release, but they trickle out games first and the opener and then this and that. I mean, they got it figured out, man. They keep people's attention all year round. It's true. We can talk again. You can talk about, oh, it's a bad product. Let me tell you something. You know why everyone wants to say the NFL is a bad product, like worse than it was? Because I fully disagree. Because we had some amazing games last year. I couldn't count if I had 15 hands, the amount of great games we had. The reason that people want to say the NFL product stinks now is because you just have way more games that are nationally televised than you used to, right? Fridays and Thursdays and Saturdays and Mondays and obviously Sundays. You're not going to bat 1,000. You're going to have some bad games. We had some awesome games, so I can't wait to get back into that. But first, let's talk baseball. I mean, it's only, mid-May? So you got a lot of baseball to go. And today's slate is actually kind of fun for a couple of reasons. One, pitching is weird. And when I say it's weird, what I mean is that you have Jesus Luzardo, who's been awesome this year, against the St. Louis team that really doesn't strike out all that much. They have a 4.1 run implied total. There aren't any teams on this slate with a sub 4 run implied total. As a matter of fact, if you look at the top pitchers tool here, you have let's say St. Louis, Seattle, Milwaukee, San Francisco, New York Yankees, Cleveland, all within 4.1 to 4.4 runs. And then you've got 4.6 for Arizona against Jordan Hicks, who's really not having a great year. And then the one outlier, right? The one standalone spot from an implied total standpoint is the Philadelphia Phillies against Eric Fedde, right? So there's really not much to differentiate any of these teams and pitchers today. If you wanted to say yeah, but Luzardo is the best pitcher on the slate, fine. But also, it's not the greatest matchup. It's not going to be hot in Philly. A lot of rain recently. I mean, it's been raining here for the past 2 days straight. Potential weather, but I think it should be okay. Keep an eye on it. Should be cleared out by then. 64 degrees, 73 degrees in Cleveland. We don't have this Baltimore game. But, yeah, it's pretty mild weather. The Seattle game, you're not worried about that. And then the Giants game, you have winds blowing out, but that stadium is legitimately designed to tamp down the effects of wind. And it's 60 degrees there. It's also a pitcher friendly, park. So yeah, across the board, there's nothing that really stands out. And that's why, man, when I ran the Sims, I'll be the first person to tell you I was a little bit surprised to see what we were getting, without question. I run the Sims and I go, oh, wow, okay. Pitcher exposure. We are not getting a lot of Luzardo. I thought we would be getting at least a decent amount, 20% around, which isn't crazy because the only guy we're getting a lot of right now is actually Gavin Williams against Milwaukee. And it's funny too, because last time we did a show like this, we jammed Gavin Williams. If you guys remember, we had a ton of Gavin Williams. And I remember a lot of us going, man, I don't know how I feel about a spot like that. It was against Philly too. He was 6,800, dominant, 5 scoreless, 4 hit, 8 strikeouts, got the win in that 6-0 win. He was awesome. Do I anticipate a game like that every time he's out there? Of course not, but he's got good strikeout stuff. Last 4 starts, 8 Ks, 9 Ks, 2 against Minnesota, and then 8 Ks against the Yankees. He had a 7K game against the White Sox too. So his prices come up $1,000 from when we last talked about him 5 days ago. But Gavin Williams, it makes sense at 7,800. You know, even against Milwaukee, not to say Milwaukee's a juggernaut, but you know, this isn't like a super high K team or anything like that. Gavin Williams getting that much ownership, I'm not going to shy away from it. To me, it makes sense. Now, I also don't think it's insane to get some Milwaukee either. On these 4-game slates, I'm always more than willing to take shots on both sides of these games. But yeah, look, Milwaukee's bottom 8 in K rate against righties. The difference between Milwaukee and some other teams that have low K rates and have actually been good, specifically this St. Louis team. Granted, that's a little bit different because they're going up against the lefty today, but they also don't strike out all that much against lefties, is that the Milwaukee Brewers haven't really been great otherwise, right? 93 WRC plus against righties, 135 ISO, which as you can see right here, also bottom 6 in baseball. So they're sitting pretty much close to the basement. I'm not saying they're dwelling in the same pits as like Pittsburgh and the White Sox, but they still haven't been great. And take it for what it's worth, but Progressive Field is definitely favorable for pitchers. We know that for a fact. And this game is in Cleveland. So that benefits us as well. Let's see. Park factor, where's Progressive Field? Yeah, 22nd. Actually, if you look at Progressive, Citi Field, Comerica, and Wrigley, and really you could throw this Brewers and Giants in there, they're all pretty much tied at the bottom, you know? And not a lot of homers hit at this park either. Yeah, bottom 3 over the last 3 years, rolling average for home runs hit there. So like I said, it's a good pitcher's park for sure. And that's going to bring us to more Gavin Williams. But if you pull up the top pitchers tool, you know, what really separates some of these guys? Look at top 2 pitcher probability on DraftKings, right? So the probability, the likelihood that there'll be a top 2 pitcher on this slate. That matters because you have to play 2 pitchers on DraftKings. You have Luzardo at 34%, Gavin Williams at 29%. $1,000 difference. Eduardo Rodriguez at 28% against San Francisco. Another good park, $8,200. Will Warren in another great pitcher's park at 27%. It's actually funny because the only park on this slate that plays relatively favorable for hitters is Philly, is Citizens Bank. Cleveland's pitcher friendly, San Francisco, T-Mobile, and Seattle, they're all pitcher friendly parks. So maybe this just does end up being one of those slates where we kind of pick our poison in the sense that you could, one, just spread exposure around quite a bit to bats, or you could, you know, hone in on a couple of spots that look good. Philadelphia, obviously, against Eric Fede is going to be a popular spot. Look at the top stacks tool today. Ownership on the Phillies is number 1 on the slate. Number 1. Milwaukee, second against Gavin Williams because you're not paying a massive premium for them, but you're not really for any of these teams outside of the Yankees and maybe Seattle. Right? So there's not a ton that jumps off the page. Let's look at top stack probability. 18% Philly, 15% Arizona, 13% Yankees, 12% Milwaukee, 11% Cleveland, 11% San Francisco, 10% Seattle, 9% St. Louis, 9% Seattle. These are the type of days where I rely heavily on the sims to kind of dictate the decisions, because if you think you have a strong read one way or another, that's fine. Like I nothing against that. But it's hard to have a strong read on pitcher-friendly parks across the board, pretty decent pitchers as well, pretty low totals, nothing popping off the page except for Philly. Steven says, I know you hate batter, so you're talking about BVP, but Harper is 11 for 22 versus Fede with 6 bombs. Yeah, I mean, that is ridiculous. Also, Steven, if you want me to add to this little BVP narrative here, Bryce Harper, who has absolutely been struggling, right, and knows it, Bryce Harper went ahead and gave himself a little haircut to break out of the funk. And it's been told that he's very frustrated. So maybe there's something there. Maybe the Bryce Harper game is upon us. I mean, I don't think it's insane to think that Bryce Harper just in general is a good play. How much of Philly are we getting to? Not a lot. Wow. Man, how are we getting? We are getting so different. I mean, everywhere today. Very little Philly. Are we getting to any Bryce Harper? Because this could be one of those spots, Steven, if you're a Sims user, where you look to bump him up a little bit. And it could be the fact that Bryce Harper is projected for far more ownership than any other first baseman, being the reason that we're not getting nearly as much. 21% Bryce Harper ownership right now in this pool after we generated that contest. That's pretty crazy. Self-made, you know what? That's not a bad idea. If I'm getting to less Harper, maybe the play is that we just bet him to homer. I kind of like that idea. Let's see if there's good odds anywhere. Are plus 40 the best odds? Or are you just pulling from an individual book? We can see. I will give you that, Steven. 11 for 22 with 6 home runs is at least something I'm willing to pay attention to. Typically, I think BVP can be garbage, or at the very least, very noisy. And there are some pitchers that'll say, like, this guy has my number, right? And a lot of that is the type of pitches that they're throwing, right? What's their pitch mix? You know, how do batters perform against that specific pitch? But let's see. Let's see where Harper is. Now I'm curious. Plus 480 to homer with the platoon advantage against Eric Fedde is really not. All right, so plus 450 on DraftKings. Let's bet it right now. Let's go ahead. Let's plug in Bryce Harper here. See if there's any other quality edge spots. We can do a little 2-homer parlay. What do we say? We'll go Bryce Harper and then whoever else pops up for us. But let me load Bryce Harper into this real quick. And if you're on these tools, if you just click this bet, it'll load it straight into your bet slip. But I'm doing it from my phone, so it's a little bit different. It'll work on the phone too, on the app. But I'm already in the DK app. This tool, this live odds tool, is free. You should use it. Super helpful. If you're not shopping odds and you bet sports, the sports books love you, and you're making a massive mistake. All right, plus 450 there. Are there any other quality edge spots? Langoliers against Warren. That's on BetMGM. Doesn't look like anything really right now on DraftKings. And there will be later in the day for sure, especially as some of these sharp sources start releasing their odds and we get the edge on some of those. But let's go Bryce Harper here, plus 450. All right, we are in. Sweet. I think it makes, I'm with you, Steven. I'm okay with it. Does that mean that I'm going to boost exposure in the Sims? Probably not. But also, Plus 450 on Harper to homer in this spot when the team has a 5+ total. I like those odds anyway. Plus, when you look at other books like FanDuel and some of these other books, a couple of them weren't even close. So if that's the case, I'll take it. Yeah, all of them at 4-1, plus 450 on Harper here. Make sure you're betting the right game though, guys. Make sure you're not betting that second game of the doubleheader. All right, get that 1 p.m. game in there. Otherwise, that's a mistake. But yeah, we'll take it. We'll take it. I'm really surprised that we're not getting more Philly here. But there are times where you're going to get a lot of a chalky stack, and there's other times where you're going to get a lot less of one. This is simply one of those times where you're going to get less of one. By the way, Jack Leiter, not bad yesterday, fellas. What do you go, 6 1-run innings, 6 Ks, or 5 1-run innings, 6 Ks? You'll take that. You'll take it. I mean, it was Jack Leiter day, of course. I don't know if he was optimal. There was a big slate with a lot of good pitching, but he definitely didn't hurt you yesterday. Let's take a look at our positional exposures here and see where the big ones are coming in. All right. Aaron Judge, we've got 40% of right now. Corbin Carroll, coming off that double dong game 2 days ago, 28%. Very interesting how we're kind of jamming 5 or 6 guys. Ramos against Rodriguez, Judge against, who is it? Castillo? Who, man, I don't know what's going on with Castillo. I bet the over on his strikeouts yesterday, seeing that moving in the direction I wanted, and it actually moved back the other way. I'm getting negative CLV on that right now. It's like the only bet I have that doesn't have positive closing line value so far today. Maybe it'll move. Carroll against Hicks. Yelich against Gavin Williams. And then Lee at 27% against Rodriguez as well. Let's take a look at shortstop. Adames against Rodriguez. Wow. A lot of him today. Man, we are really getting a lot of this Atlanta team or San Francisco team, huh? Chapman, a lot. Ketel Marte from that same game. Does this not speak to the slate or what? If you had 10 games in this slate, tell me how much Arizona, San Francisco in San Francisco we're getting. Tell me how much of that we're getting to. Naylor, Wilmer Flores. Yeah, it's a decent amount. Now, when projections update again, I'll definitely make some changes. I'm assuming that they will change, especially as odds adjust and everything else. But I think this stuff is really helpful. And if we look at our lineups, I'll zoom in for you guys here. We look at the lineups that we're getting in the Sims. Henderson Hicks with a 4-3 Milwaukee San Francisco. Luzardo Hicks with a 5-2 Milwaukee San Francisco. Rodriguez and Fede with a 2-2 Milwaukee Cleveland. We're really, everywhere. Arizona, San Francisco, Cleveland, a 3-2-2 with Gavin Williams and Eric Fede. The Eric Fede spot is actually, to me, one of the most interesting pitcher spots that we could talk about today. Because how many people are going to want to play him against Philly, especially when Philly's the only team with a total north of 4.6 runs? Mind you, Fede's coming off a outrageous game. Complete game shutout, 8 strikeouts, 42 DraftKings points. And to be fair to him, he's actually been good this year. But his strikeout stuff is average to say the least. It's not a great matchup. He walks a ton of batters. A ton of batters. He has 21 walks through his first 8 starts, which can be a problem. Amazingly, he still manages to work relatively deep into some of these games. And if you look at it, he's gone 6 innings in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of 8 starts. 5+ in 7 of 8. Is it crazy to think that maybe Eric Fedde, we should be getting to a little bit of him today? 28%. Never mind. That's not a little bit. I'm okay with it. I'm genuinely okay with getting to Eric Fedde. Now, it's 28%, so it's actually not as much as you'd think, right? So a quarter of our lineups are going to have Eric Fedde. It's not crazy. Will Warren, Gavin Williams, Jordan Hicks. But then again, like a fifth of our lineups have Logan Henderson. A quarter of them have Jordan Hicks. Nearly a third of them have Will Warren. The scary part is getting to less Eduardo Rodriguez and Luzardo and Castillo on this slate, because you know damn well that those first two guys are going to have a lot of ownership. Luzardo and Rodriguez are at 43% and almost 30% respectively. Even Castillo is getting 23%. Meanwhile, we're getting ample exposure to three of the lowest owned guys on the slate, and then a lot of Will Warren and Gavin Williams. Of course, make your own decisions here. You want to make some tweaks, go for it. I've had a lot of you guys DM me the past couple of days since I started hitting everybody with the promo codes in the DMs if they wanted to get in on the Sims. And one of the questions I've got a lot is, like, you know, how often are you making adjustments, Laffy? The answer is really totally slate dependent. But if I were to give you one succinct answer to something like that, if you're a new Sims user, the simplest answer is, I don't want to make any adjustments that are going to completely cancel what the Sims are giving me in the first place, right? So like, you're getting these lineups in the Sims. If you've reinvented the wheel by the time you're done making adjustments, I don't think that's very helpful. Some ROI boosts here and there, right? Get a little bit more, a little bit less of a player. You're trying to get a little higher exposure here or less there, or you know, you can use exposure caps to do that, right? So like, hey, I don't actually want 60% Gavin Williams today. I'm going to limit his exposure to 40%. All of that stuff makes sense. Or when you go in and you favorite lineups, you use a certain amount of uniques. That can actually thin out exposure for you. You know, that can flatten exposure for you without having to make any adjustments to exposure caps or ROI boost. All of that stuff is really helpful. But no, I'm not going to go in and make a boost to like 8 different guys at, excuse me, at like 40%. And now all of my lineups took lineups that were negatively simmed, made them positive. And now every lineup I have wasn't originally a positively simmed lineup, right? Because now I'm just injecting so many of my own thoughts to where I've muddled the process, and the lineups I'm getting aren't actually, you know, good lineups. So yeah, but I don't see any reason to not make some adjustments here. Like, let's do this. Let's see what happens if we take an exposure cap. Who's a guy that we're a little bit nervous on? Maybe you guys don't want to play Eric Fedde. We can take Eric Fedde and we can set the exposure cap to like 15%. And we can set Hicks to 15% as well. Is this just going to bring Gavin Williams up and Will Warren up, and we still don't get to any Luzardo or to Castillo or much Rodriguez? Or does it bring those guys up? I like to see these things. So let's see. It already it'll resort everything for you. You don't have to favorite anybody. Yes, it brought Warren up. It brought Henderson up. And it did bring Luzardo up to 24% and Rodriguez up. See what I mean? So that is one way to do it. You say, like, I don't want to get overexposed to Eric Fedde. I'm still over the field. He's only projected for 9%. But look, now I get a lot more Luzardo and Rodriguez. I think those are certain things that can work for you for sure. Absolutely. And in doing so, by the way, you weren't artificially boosting anybody. You were just capping someone's exposure. So then the Sims is going to pull other positively simmed lineups. I like that. But yeah, man, looking at our Sims exposure to these pitchers, now you have 5 guys at 23+%. That's not bad. Can't tell if that's thunder or a plane just crashed outside of my house. Let's see. Oh yeah, we're in the thick of a storm here. By the way, any iPhone experts out there, I had my phone charging yesterday and it said liquid was detected in the lightning connector, which no idea how because it wasn't wet. And now it won't charge unless I use this old charger. So if any of you guys know more about this than I do, tell me what to do because none of my other I woke up, my phone had 3% battery. I said, what the heck? So yeah. But anyway, take a look at some more exposures here and look if we can build out a little single game in the single game sim. Patrick said put it in rice. Yeah, but the thing about putting it in rice is it's not like, I don't know how it would have been wet. That right? Like I get it if my Nokia got submerged in 2001, but I don't think rice would make a difference here. It's 24 hours ago. I have a wireless Apple charger. I could try that. Anyway, you guys want to get access to the tools, shoot me a DM. A lot of you guys hit me up yesterday. I love to see it. And I'm happy that people do this because I know when you do, you're saying, all right, I actually want to get access to these tools and I want to learn. And they asked me for the tutorial, the one that Greg did, which is amazing. And you get in and the learning curve is small, but you're going to be making better lineups. You're going to become a smarter DFS player, which I think, obviously in doing so means that you're going to build better lineups. You're going to long-term win more money with these tools. And I'll hit you with a promo. My DM is down there, Laffy_D. You can see it right under my name, LOUGHY_D, or even on Instagram if you want to hit me up, preferably Twitter, but whatever it may be. Hit me up. Say, hey, Laffy was watching the show. Can I get that code to get in on the Sims? You'll get the Sims. You'll get the post-contest Sim, which is super important. You'll get the late swap tool. You will get ownership, player projections, top stacks, top hitters, top pitchers tools, everything. Oh, and the single lineup sim. The single lineup sim is sick. For you hand builders out there that say, I love hand building, but I think it's time for me to advance myself into 2025 instead of 2015 because the times have changed. Now you're getting instant feedback when we sim these contests, right? So we sim it against the field and you can build it out. This is such a cool tool. Anyway, hit me up. I promise it's worth your while if you want to get in and say, hey, look, I would love to have the tools, but I don't want to pay full price my first time. I want to try them out. I'll get you a great price. And I think you will 100% be satisfied with these tools. You're going to love them. The only downside is your family's going to get upset because you're going to spend so much time on them. That's the truth. I wouldn't lie to you. But yeah, hit me up in DMs. Bunch of you guys, like I said yesterday, hopefully. And if you guys have questions who already signed up, DM me. If you have any questions, you already know. If you're watching and you've done so, I get back to you as quick as I possibly can and work through any of these processes with you. All right, let's build a lineup. It's a small slate today, so we don't need to take so much time on this. We've broken down pitcher exposure. We've talked about stacks. What do you guys say we go? What do you say we try like a San Francisco stack here? Jason Son, what's up, dude? Single lineup sim is awesome. New user here. Great for the micros. Yeah, man, it's great. It's great. Josh loves this tool. And what Greg and I do sometimes too is we'll actually use it in conjunction with the Sims, run the Sims first, maybe cheat a little bit, maybe cheat a tiny bit and see what type of exposures we're getting. And then if we're looking at our single lineup contest, I love doing this for NFL. I do it for NFL every week. I'll start building them out in here and find some unique ways to build lineups, knowing kind of what sims out positively already. All right, let's see. Let's see if we can go. And by the way, thanks for the feedback, guys. I will try all of that. I will rip and sip and said liquid, Dave. Yeah, liquid sip. I'm nutting into the charging port. That's what's happening, dude. Granted, I would be holding my phone at the time, but nah, that's not the case here. Jason, older chargers and newer ones. Not the one that came with my device broke already. So I went and bought some aftermarket ones. I know that's typically a bad idea, but Apple just flat out rapes you on price. Oh, this is going to get pulled now. They bend you over a barrel on price for those things, and I refuse to do it. I'll buy your phone, but screw you on everything else. All right, let's do it. Let's build one out here. I want to try San Francisco. What do you say? Dwayne, I don't think the Sims are off the Phillies because of the iffy weather. No. That could be a factor going forward. Let's see what the weather looks like in Philly. Pulling up. Nah, see, Philly's gonna be fine by the time this passes. So it's not the weather. I can tell you what it is. It's the fact that the Phillies are several individual bats are going to be really popular for the Phillies on this slate. Really popular, and it's a 4-game slate. And Eric Fetty's actually not that bad. Jason, I'm using an unapproved charger right now, and it's working. It always has. I'm saying the other one stopped working. And I actually plugged it into my wife's charger, which is an Apple one, because hers still works, and that's not working. All right, let's go. Pitchers will go Gavin Williams. I want to go Gavin because Gavin Williams is a good spot here. I'm actually going to go Eric Fetty. I want to see how weird we can get with this. Large field contest, 25% to first. That's what the big DK one is today. It's $15, 100K, 25K to first. And then I actually think we should go and see if we can build out a San Francisco stack. Let's go pull San Francisco up here. Now, you know what? I want to go Arizona. Let's throw Corbin Carroll in here. And we could honestly go both. The Sims really like this spot today. They really like this. How much flexibility do we have in pricing? Like, can we go Ketel Marte and Corbin Carroll and Josh Naylor? And Suarez or Lawler or Gurriel? Nah, let's go. We don't need to go 5-man. Let's try this. Aaron, appreciate you, man. Thanks to all of you guys for watching, by the way. Appreciate it. And if you don't mind, take a second, hit that thumbs up before you guys get out of here, before we close this out. It does help. It signals the algorithm that you enjoy what you're watching. And then it'll show it to more people. So thanks for that, guys. Let's see if we can. What other stacks? Seattle, Philly, or St. Louis, Philly, Milwaukee, Cleveland, Arizona, San Francisco. All right, let's get weird. We're going to go 3-man, and then we're going to go Aaron Judge. I don't know if we can afford this. That gives us 3,400 remaining. Are there any cheap catchers? This is where it gets fun. We're trying to piece the puzzle together. Or because we didn't go expensive at pitcher. We have less than 15K combined at pitcher. Can we go with like Herrera at 2,500 and get a 4-man Arizona? That gives us 3,700 remaining. We can't really go super expensive here. We could go, I don't think I want a 5-man Arizona, but I'll try it with Suarez and see if it works. 3,600 remaining. Willie Adames at 3,900. And then we're going to wrap this up with a $3,300 outfielder. Let's see. Show affordable players. You can toggle on affordable players as well. Well, we can't go 6 there. Is there anybody that looks good? It's all Arizona. Maybe we go Gurriel, pull out Suarez. That gives us 4K at third base. Anybody here? Nolan Arenado. I don't think this is going to sim all that well, but we're going to try it. And then what we're going to do is you can actually have the Sims fill out the rest of your lineup for you. So we'll build a 4-man Arizona stack, 3%. Not great. Not bad, but not great. We're going to build a 4-man Arizona stack with Aaron Judge and see what the rest of the lineup looks like. This will be fun. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Let's do this. Complete this lineup. It gave us Noel at 2,200. That's fine. Batting 7th. Mason Wynn batting 2nd against Luzardo. Jose Ramirez. So what we have here is a 4-2-1-1. Let's sim it with Gavin Williams and Eric Fedde. Being able to have it fill out the rest of your lineup is sweet. 44%. There we go. Now we're in business. One more here. What happens if we build one out with the same pitchers, except this time a San Francisco stack against Rodriguez? I think we can make this look damn good. But instead, I'm going to go Will Warren and Gavin Williams. So 1 pitcher, 2 pitcher. We'll swap out Eric Fedde. And now we're going to go Lee and Ramos. Notice we're going to actually, yeah, let's fill this out. Willie Adames. We're going to go 4-man. We don't need a 5-man here, even though maybe it'll give us a 5-man. Wilmer Flores is batting 5th. Anyone else here that looks good? Let's go Chapman batting 4th. So fill that out. 4,400 remaining. I think I want to see if we can plug Aaron Judge back into this. 3,700 remaining. Complete this lineup. Catcher, first base, second base. Marshawn, Josh Naylor, and Bryson Stott. We zeroed this lineup out. $50,000. How does a 4-man San Francisco with Will Warren and Gavin Williams look? 34%. Okay. Last one here. What happens if we take Judge out? See why this tool can be addicting. Keep the 4-man San Francisco. Replace Aaron Judge with Corbin Carroll. Does it change the whole lineup? No. It's essentially the same thing. But does Corbin Carroll change things enough? $600 remaining instead of zeroing it out with Aaron Judge. Nope. Actually, Aaron Judge in there, even if you're zeroing it out, makes it way better. Interesting. All right, last one. You guys got any pictures you want to load in here? Let me know. Trey, what's up, man? Yeah, appreciate you hanging out. Appreciate all you guys hanging out. Emwald. Oh, that's a good question. What's the best Sims version of a Philly stack? Okay, let's try that. Clearly not going to go Eric Fedde there, so we'll go. Let's go Gavin Williams and maybe we go with a cheap hit. Nah, Hicks. Let's go Gavin Williams and Will Warren with a Philly stack. I have no clue how this will turn out. But yeah, Bryson Stott batting leadoff. Let's throw our boy Harper in here. 5,700 on Harper. Then you have Schwarber. You have Castellanos. You have Kepler. I don't even know how this would work. I mean, I don't think you're getting Schwarber in there and making a decent lineup, but I'm going to fuck it. I'm going to try it anyway. That's why we're here, right? We don't need this to look, we don't need it to look great. We're doing this to see if it can look great. Trey Turner's 5,500. Again, that's tough. Let's just throw Castellanos in there. So now we have the 1, 3, 4, 5 on Phillies. If we complete it, we have 3,300 remaining. Now it makes it a 5-man because you have Marchand in there. Somehow we managed to jam Jose Ramirez because we threw Noel in there for Cleveland and Mason Wien at 3,400, batting second against Luzardo. Let's try it. Self-made. It is actually. It's a 5-2 Philly Cleveland. I don't know if it's going to be positive though. 7%, not terrible. Does it, the real question is, does it change if you take like Will Warren out and you put in a, because mind you, that's going to be chalky, right? So would it change if we put in a lower owned pitcher? If we put in Jordan Hicks, pull out these guys and have it fill it out for us again? Let me pull out everybody that it added for us. The only difference now is that I moved, changed Will Warren to Jordan Hicks at much lower ownership. Okay, so it's Ramirez and Adames now over Mason Wynn. So that's our upgrade. Our upgrade is Adames. Everything else stays the same. Trevor, Laffy, I'm late to the party. Who we liking on the early slate? You still got an hour and 20 minutes, man. Start it from the beginning. I'm almost done. There you go. Okay, so that tells us a lot. If you're going with the Philly stack, one thing you can do is get a little bit different with these pitchers. Now, I think it may look worse if we went 2 lower owned pitchers, though. Like if we said, you know what, I'm going to go not just Jordan Hicks, but also Logan Henderson. Does that just make it way worse? Clear these other guys out once again and get our 4-man Philly stack in there. It's probably going to be Marchand again. I can't imagine. No. Sam Huff, Willy Adames, and Christian Yelich. So this looks way different. Who's going to have Jordan Hicks, Logan Henderson lineups with a Philly stack? Seriously. Maybe the Sims will say we shouldn't. 8%. Okay. Anyway, you want to check these tools out, hit me up, DM me. They're awesome, man. This is fun for baseball. It's fun for any sport. I love it for baseball. I love it for football. I will tinker with this or football. Greg and I do an entire show every Wednesday, the single lineup Sims tournament builder. Every single Wednesday during football season, we just dig in. But yeah, man, hit me up. Of course, if you ever wanted to check the tools out the other way, you can use a link in the description. Sign up with any of our DFS partners or any of our sports betting, sportsbook partners. Just follow those 4 simple steps with the link in the description. That's an easy way to do it too. But DM me if you're looking for a good code to get in at a good price. All right, home run time. Let's see if we have any additional home runs before we get out of here. Trevor, I can't wait for the return of football either. I have the itch. Self-made, Luzardo and Hicks for Philly stack. Yeah, you know, that's not crazy. The issue is that Luzardo's super popular and the Phillies are super popular. I'll try it, though. Here, look. I'll throw Luzardo in and I will clear everybody else out. Here's the last one we'll run. So, who else did it add in there? 1, 2, 3, 4. Harper, Stott, boom, it added. Okay. So we have a 4-man Philly stack with Luzardo and Hicks. What does it give us? Marchand, Chapman, Adames. So 5-2, and then Noel for Cleveland. I'll sim it for you, see what happens. %. Everything's coming there. Joseph, Philly. I'm in Bucks County. I'm not in Philly, but I'm not far. I can also look at a radar, and it's going to clear out. It already is beginning to clear out. I'm in the middle of a storm right now, but we still have, what, hour plus before that game starts? All right, homer props before we go. These have been super good to us on this show. I think there's something about this show that just oddly brings us luck on these homer props. We bet the Harper one so we can have some fun there. Salvador Perez plus 350. God, who's he facing today that he's plus 350? Who knows off the top of their head who Kansas City has today? Oh, it's what's his name? Like Roland or what the hell is his name? Because it's Houston still, right? It's that Houston series. Who do they have? Colton Gordon. Colton Gordon coming up from AAA Sugarland on Wednesday to make his major league debut. It's a lefty. Salvi has the platoon advantage. How about these other books? Penny at plus 272, DK at plus 250. I may have to bet Salvador Perez to homer. I bet him yesterday. He did not homer. He went 0 for 4, so maybe we'll get there today. Stephen Kwan, plus 1060. Oh, how about this? Our boy Noel. We were getting a ton of him in the Sims. Plus 480. All right. On FanDuel, plus 480. We should do a little Perez Noel parlay here on FanDuel. I just may. Let's do it. Salvador Perez and Noel, plus 350, plus 480. Straight from the the OddsShopper live odds tool. Let's do it. And of course, you ever want to check out all of the actual bets that we have on here, all of the EV bets that populate every day for every sport, link down below. Your first week is 100% free. It's free. And I did this big long thread yesterday on closing line value and how important it is. We have a My Bets page now that will track all of your closing line value on every single bet you make. It's incredible stuff. WNBA is starting in 2 days. I had a 12% ROI on WNBA last year. I didn't watch a single game. It was my best sport by ROI. And you know why I think that is? The fact that you don't know anything, I don't, about the WNBA, I think it means that I can't overanalyze anything. I can't talk my way out of a good bet because I don't know what a bad bet would even look like. I just jam every WNBA bet I get. That's it. And killed it. 8 times. Greg killed it. We all killed WNBA last year. So even if you don't love a sport, but you do like money, you should definitely consider it. At the very least, check it out for a week because we're going to have a ton of WNBA bets popping up. I can't wait. It holds us over for the summer as well when you don't have a lot of sports going. Anyway, guys, appreciate you. Have a great rest of the day. Enjoy these games. We'll have some fun with these. You'll have Live Before Lock with those guys tonight. Live Before Lock for NBA. I assume we have NBA games, right? 2 games tonight. Probably potentially the last 2-game slate. And we'll run it back tomorrow, likely a Live Before Lock. Thanks for hanging out as always, guys. You are the best. Again, you want to get access to the Sims, to the single lineup sim, all of our tools, hit me up. My DMs are open and I'll shoot you a code over. You can jump in and I'll give you everything you need to know to get started straight out of the gate. But we'll see you back here for the next one. Bye-bye.